Hey.
Alright y'all, so after a rough start to the Pascal Siakam era in Indiana, they rattled off two very impressive wins. First, they ended the Philadelphia 76ers 6-game winning streak, and then they ended the Phoenix Suns 7-game winning streak last night, Friday night, and that was with Devin Booker scoring 62 points. They stayed resilient. Still no Tyrese Haliburton after his 1-game return and re-injury of the hamstring. But overall, through 5 games with Pascal Siakam, I think my main takeaway is to just be patient as this team figures out the new rotation, how to play with each other, you know, all those little minute details that have to happen after a big trade such as this one. Because I don't think it's very surprising, you know, they lost their first 3 games with Pascal Siakam. He wasn't playing that great, it just kind of looked off, but then we take these last 2 games, we finally give him some time to actually, like, you know, get on the court and practice with each other. Siakam comes out, drops a triple-double against the Sixers, 30+ points against the Suns, and he is looking like the same all-NBA player he once was. And that leads me to my next point, is that I think a lot of people are underselling just how good of a trade this was for the Indiana Pacers. At least, you know, national media I didn't really feel like they made a big deal about it, but this trade was a big deal. This is a Pacers team that has been Tyrese Haliburton's team ever since he got traded from the Kings last season. 2 seasons ago, I'm bugging right now. Anyway, they have the #1 offense in the entire NBA across the entire season. They are the best offense in NBA history right now, at least according to the numbers and the advanced metrics, which is impressive because outside of Tyrese Haliburton, they really don't have another star player or even all-star level guy on this roster. At least they didn't until they traded for Pascal Siakam. Plus, the guy that Pascal Siakam is replacing in the starting lineup, Obi Toppin, was definitely the weakest part of that starting lineup. And that's no hate to Obi Toppin, it's just he's a lot of offense and not a lot of defense. I'm actually excited for him to go back to his bench role, especially in this game against the Suns. He absolutely killed it. Had a 20+ point game off the bench in 30 minutes. He was on the court at the end of the game. I just think this role suits him so much better because, you know, you can either play him 30 minutes like you did in this game, or if he doesn't have it, you can play him 15 minutes because most Obi Toppin games are either really good or really bad. And while it's cool to see him throwing down, you know, between the leg dunks in transition, he also still jumps at Josh Okogie pump faking on the 3-point line. So, you know, you give and you take. Anyway, any chance you could add another all-NBA player to your starting lineup, you should do it, especially since the Pacers gave away Bruce Brown, who hadn't even been with the team for more than half a season, Jordan Nwora, who, just be honest, wasn't really getting minutes on this team, and 2 first-round picks, and they were able to get back Pascal Siakam and the chance to lock him down for another 4 years. So what exactly does Siakam add to this team? Why was he such a great addition to this Pacers roster? The #1 thing is his rim pressure and driving abilities. Siakam is excellent at getting to the rim. He is always looking for little crevices and, you know, spots in the defense where he can attack and get to the rim. Not only is he really good at finishing drives with some layups or some tough floaters, he's really good when he's able to get to that right hand. Had a couple of really tough floaters on the right side in this game against the Suns. But he's also great at controlling the paint. You can post him up, you can use him as a roll man that then leads into a post up, and Andrew Nembhard was doing a terrific job of feeding him in the post in this game. Siakam was cooking down on the low block, just making really quick decisions and getting easy points as a result of it. You know, I can only imagine what Tyrese Haliburton's going to be able to do with this if this is what Nembhard was doing with him. And you might be saying to yourself, you know, like, oh, Obi Toppin's also good at driving the basketball. He's good at posting up and getting vertical to catch passes and then to lay those passes in for easy buckets. And that's true. That's one of the strengths of Obi Toppin as well. But one part where Siakam exceeds Toppin is in passing and playmaking off of those drives. On one hand, you have Obi, who is usually getting tunnel vision on these drives to the rim, whereas Pascal Siakam has his head up, is looking for cutters, is looking for shooters, and it was evident in this game as well. He was spraying it all over the court after his drives to the rim. He's also a good enough scorer that teams will occasionally have to send doubles at him if he has it going. He had a few possessions in this game where, you know, even if it was just a soft double, that opens up lanes for teammates to cut or get open shots off of it, and Siakam, again, is just really good at hitting those open players. Plus, Siakam's also a good enough ball handler that you can use him as a hub at the top of the key to run offense through. Not only is this going to help take the load off of Tyrese Haliburton to be the guy with the ball in his hands the most, but at the same time, you just get another great shot creator in Siakam, who can have plays like this where, you know, you feed it to him at the high post, you run a fake handoff, and he's then able to ISO and go into a pull-up midi and knock it down. This is a staple of Siakam's game. And even though he hasn't been the best shooter this season, he is someone that is capable of knocking down shots. He's been on a really good hot streak in recent weeks. I know he got off to a terrible start from the three-point line. That's the main reason why his three-point percentage looks so awful so far to start the season, but in his first 5 games in Indiana, he's at 40%. I don't expect that to stay at all. I expect him to dip down probably closer to like 35, 36%, but he is a capable shooter. That's the point I'm trying to get at. But perhaps most importantly about this Siakam addition is the defense that he's going to be able to add to this team. As we all know, Indiana has had the best offense. They have been historic on that end of the court, but the defense has been a whole other issue in itself. They are currently 26th in defensive rating season long, and that's just not going to be able to sustain if you actually want to be a contender at some point. Although Pascal Siakam is a great defender, and, you know, he's not quite all defensive team, but he is a solid above average defender. He's not going to be able to save this defense all by himself, but what he will do is give them a step in the right direction and add some more structure, especially in that front court with Miles Turner. Even in this game against the Suns specifically, he had some really good possessions against Kevin Durant. Now, obviously, Kevin Durant also had a few nice buckets of his own, but the point remains that Siakam was able to get a few stops that other players wouldn't be able to get. Not to harp on Obi Toppin, but the difference between Toppin and Siakam on the defensive side of the court is valley to mountain. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but I'm going to use it. Either way, at the end of the day, Pascal Siakam is going to add so much to this Pacers team. The burden isn't going to fall solely on Tyrese Haliburton to always have the ball in his hands. You now have someone in the front court who can also take some of that usage pressure off of him. Also, when it comes to late game scenarios, that's another area where I feel like the Pacers, you know, they've had some really good wins just because they are a team that puts the effort in. They hustle a lot. Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard is starting to cook recently. You know, Benedict Mathurin. Those are all guys that are willing to put their bodies on the line for this team, and it's helped them win a lot of close games they maybe shouldn't have. But when it comes to getting good late game offense type shots, it's going to be a huge boost to that area of the game because they're going to be able to just spam pick and rolls with Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam. Haliburton's going to be able to come off the screen and do what he does. You're also going to have Pascal Siakam as another scoring threat as the roll man in those same scenarios, and I think it's going to be a really tough play to stop. But again, like I said at the top of the video, I think we all just need to take a step back and be patient with this Pacers team. They just made the trade. They're only 5 games into this Siakam era. I know Tyrese Haliburton played in that first game against Portland when they lost, and it was a pretty bad loss, but he has since re-injured the hamstring, so I'm just going to look past that and say that I'm really looking forward to a healthy, officially healthy Tyrese Haliburton getting back on the court and actually getting some good reps with Pascal Siakam. Pacers are currently 6th in the Eastern Conference, and I feel very comfortable saying that they have officially solidified themselves in that second tier in the East with the Knicks and the Cavs. I don't quite think they're a top tier team yet with the Sixers, Bucks, and Celtics. Again, just because of how putrid that defense is. But in my opinion, I think this is a team that we should all collectively reconvene on once the All-Star break hits and they actually have some time again to just practice and gel together, because maybe they are a team that just figures things out and it all clicks extremely well and they finish the second half of the season as one of the best teams in the league. Who knows? But for now, that's where I got them. Again, Pascal Siakam, assuming he re-signs, is going to be a huge pickup for them as he is a big step in the right direction. And this front office continues to do a really good job in trades. That's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.